Hello everybody, welcome on in for part 2 of our Silent Hill 1 run-through. Hope everyone's day has been going well and that your weekend is going to go equally as well. Oh boy, hope you all have been doing good. Yeah, here we are. We're getting ready to head on to the next big dungeon of the game. And I did want to take a moment at the beginning to mention some stuff that I completely forgot about last episode. There's a lot more on a few topics that I wanted to discuss. I actually have it in my notes here, but I completely forgot to bring it up because my memory was scattered. And I got a little too into playing the game, and yeah, stuff happens. Before we get into that, I'm just going to get the normal opening stuff out of the way. So for anyone who is just finding this video as your first introduction to the channel, this run-through will be less about just playing through the game, but more about exploring all of the hidden symbolism behind what's going on within it. So we'll be pausing a lot, talking a lot, and switching over to my regular monitor to show off some artwork at the exact same time. But just for starters, though, I want to give make a correction. I want to make a huge shout out to Flarouge, who actually corrected me in the comments of the first video, so I thank you for that. I think I might have been doing a little projecting here, but when we were talking about the Marseille deck version of the Lover's card, my explanation of what was in it was actually incorrect, and I did verify. So the figures in the center of the card was actually the male, and on both sides of it, weirdly enough, it was the mother of the central figure and the lover of the central figure. So the whole idea was the division of duty between the homestead and then the new home. So ignore everything I just said about that in the last stream. I do not claim to be an expert in a lot of this stuff. I'm just an enthusiast, so I can be wrong quite often. I'm relying on you all to keep me honest. So, appreciate it, buddy. Other than that, though, there were some interesting items when we were dealing with the whole gold left, silver right symbolism. And if we're going back to The Wizard of Oz, there's actually an interesting thing that's in the books, not the films, but in the East, which is where the Munchkin land resides, is where Dorothy picked up the silver slippers. So again, silver in the right, or in the East. And shoes specifically, when you look at fairy tales, especially older fairy tales, when they're written with a very esoteric mindset, is a cobbler or a shoemaker is intended to represent someone who has a craft dealing with the material that manifests, because your feet, the shoes, touch the ground. They're very rooted in reality. Now, as Dorothy travels to the west, she ends up in the Westland with the town of the Land of the Winkies, and after defeating the witch, she takes the witch's golden helmet. Now, in the book, the witch didn't have the flying monkey. She actually had a golden helmet that would summon the flying monkeys, and because they were kind of cursed and trapped against it. And whoever held the helmet was able to summon them 3 times before the monkeys would stop listening to them. So after the defeat, Dorothy took the golden helmet, which is the complete opposite. So you have the silver in the east, gold in the west, but more specifically, shoes pressing to the earth, and then helmet, which is as close to the crown chakra to the top as possible. So you have the split between the earth and the heavens, as well as the east and the west, which is a really cool little bit there. And since we're on that topic, I've been reading a book from von Franz dealing with the Jungian psychology and archetypes of the shadow when it comes to fairy tales. And one of the things she's asserted was, one, the shoe thing, which is why I bring it up, but also in older stories, the profession of like a tailor, for example. Their representation is mostly creating new personas, because they're creating new clothes. Therefore, they're creating new faces for the characters to wear, or conversely, revealing the true character behind. Hence why we get the tailor who sold the invisible clothing to the emperor for the emperor's new clothes. And we get into that a lot. So if you're reading old fairy tales, make sure to keep that in the back of your head. Now, the other thing that I forgot to bring up entirely when we were talking about the Tria Prima as it related to Wizard of Oz was that we actually, in modern psychology, have something very similar to the whole connection between emotion, rational, logical thinking, and then the body, because the Tria Prima is the mind, the heart, and the body. I have a video on the channel called Crowler's Correspondence from Psychonauts 2, and one of the aspects of it is dealing with the Rogerian and the Freudian filters, which is the separation between our emotions and how we think about our emotions, then how we think versus our actions. So it shows a very similar interplay and relationship. The only difference is with the in the old medieval and alchemical circles, the Tria Prima is more of a triangle and less of a linear path. So let's just say, for example, that you acted solely upon pure emotion, then that means the rational side of the brain's not functioning. If you act on pure rationality, then the emotional side's not working, so you need to find a balance there. But even if you have those working properly, if the body is incapable of acting upon it, it really doesn't matter what you want to do, or if you have an internal world that's regulated. Which again brings us back to Wizard of Oz, because there's several examples within the story where the three characters of the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Lion have to interplay with one another. One specific instance of this was there's a scene in the forest when Dorothy was hungry. So of course the Lion is like, okay, I will go hunt a deer. And then the Tin Man, who represents emotion, kicks in and says, no, we can't kill any animals. No, it's going to make me very sad if we kill something. So then the Scarecrow comes in, the rational part of the brain regulating the two, saying, okay, well, let's go forage for nuts and berries and fruit and stuff like that. So it's just a direct example of how this all functions. One last bit, and I'm sorry for rambling at the beginning. I just wanted to get all this stuff out. I should have done it last time, so I apologize. In the poppy fields, there's a reason why only the Lion and Dorothy were the ones that were corrupted or fell asleep as a result of the narcotics, let's be honest and call it what it is. But the Scarecrow and the Tin Man were not, because they were non-physical. Well, I wouldn't say non-physical, but they were non-organic entities, therefore they can't really breathe it in, and it didn't affect them at all. Now, that makes perfect sense if you interpret them through the lens of the Tria Prima, because the emotion and the mental aspect of the humanity is non-physical. It's an abstract thing, so of course what affects the body is not going to affect that. Whereas the Lion representing the body is affected by that. Anyways, oh yes, I know it was asbestos at Lancido. In reality, when they were filming that, they did throw asbestos on them, which is not cool. But anyways, that's everything. Sorry for the long preamble there. I just need to get all my thoughts out before we head on and get into new topics. Let's go. Yes, the Tin Man used to be organic. His axe was cursed by the witch, so he started cutting himself different body parts by accident until he was made of nothing but tin. Which is exactly how it is when we start cutting off parts of our emotional world. You cut off an arm, you're like, it's okay, I got another arm, it's not a big deal. Cut off another arm, it's okay, I still got my legs. And little by little, you cut yourself down without realizing it until, hey, you're emotionally dead inside. And it happened in such small increments that you didn't even notice, like a frog boiling in the pot. Excuse you what, Draco? What's the excuse me? Go away. Oh shoot, that's where I need to go. You little pandejo, go away. Oh yeah, like the whole point with the Tin Man's backstory, Draco, was that he was in love with a Munchkin girl, and was the servant of an old woman. And if they ended up eloping, getting married, the woman would lose her servant. So she went to the witch and said, "Hey, you need to stop this. You need to stop them from loving each other. That way, I'm not going to lose my, I'm not going to lose her." So the witch cursed his axe so that he would slowly cut himself off physically and emotionally, to the point where the moment he lost his physical body, he stopped loving her because he was incapable of love. Therefore, the old woman got to keep her servant for the rest of her life. Now, there is a plotline in another Wizard of Oz book, I forgot which one, where they go and search, where the Tin Man hold an expedition to find that girl, but I've only read the first one. Yeah, the books are crazy. KK Gordon. So we're heading off to the Balkan Church, so we're heading north. Can we get a game base? Dude, you know what we need, Draco? Is a American McGee's Wizard of Oz. Who else is down for this? Since they're not allowing him to make Alice 3, American McGee's Alice Asylum, we totally need to have him do that for Wizard of Oz. Okay, I don't like that sound. What's chasing me? What's chasing me? Stay away, pterodactyl man. Wait, there's ammo. Let's go find the ammo. Turn around. And let's see if I can do this without taking damage. We're good. We survived. What was in development, hell? Because the last I heard, they gave, like, American McGee still wants to make the third Alice game, but they told him no, basically. They canceled the project. There we go. I've actually never played Liza P, or Life of P, or whatever the game's called. And here we are, coming to the church.
Were you ringing that bell?
I've been expecting you. It was foretold by gyromancy.
What are you talking about?
I knew you'd come. You want the girl, right?
The girl? You're talking about Cheryl.
I see everything.
You know something? Tell me.
Stay back. Nothing is to be gained from floundering about at random.
Yes, that was me breathing. Sorry,
You must
Marma.
follow the path. The path of the hermit concealed by Flauros.
What? What are you talking about?
Here, the Flauros, a cage of peace. It can break through the walls of darkness and counteract the wrath of the underworld. These will help you. Make haste to the hospital before it's too late.
Wait! Don't go yet.
Hello there, crazy lady. Alright, so to answer the question, gyromancy, there's a lot of different versions of it, but it largely comes down to either through use of hallucinogens, narcotics, or just simply spinning it around in circles. It forces the person who's the prophet or prophetess to just get super dizzy until they just collapse. And then they collapse on a board that has a bunch of symbols, and based upon what symbol they happen to fall on, it's supposed to be like a prophetic thing. Think of it like you're using a spinner that has a bunch of runic symbols on it, and whatever the spinner lands on is that, but you use the human body in this case. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. One's getting dizzy and one's using drugs. But there's another cool little thing during that conversation is she mentions the quote-unquote Cage of Peace Flauros. Now, the Flauros is the 64th demon of the Ars Goetia, aka the Lesser Key of Solomon. So if anyone knows their biblical studies, Solomon, the King Solomon, possessed a ring that allowed him to summon forth 72 demons, and he used them to assist him in building the temple. and the 64th demon of that was Flauros. Now, in its own medieval literature, it appears when manifested as either a leopard-like, like a leopard that stands on two legs, or a man with fiery eyes. Which makes sense considering the shape they just showed us for the Flauros here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? We don't actually have it because we haven't picked it up yet. Let's pick it up and then we can have that conversation. It's a tetrahedron. Now, using platonic solids, the tetrahedron is the symbolic representation of fire. So let's go ahead and switch over to the other screen as soon as I pick this up. So anyone who watched my video on the Alan Wake DLC should already be aware of this. But the platonic solids all represent individual elements. Right here, and tetrahedrons, like the one we have in the game for the flowers, is the representation for fire. And again, we have the alchemical symbols that we referenced earlier right there. So, why is it specifically a triangle? Well, one, the tetrahedron represents fire, but two, if you summon the demon Flauros, it was said to give, basically be able to tell the past, present, and the future. However, it would always lie to the summoner. This demon would just lie every single time. However, if you bound it within a triangle upon summoning it, it would tell you the truth. And when bound, it could be used to serve the summoner's purposes, which would be incinerating its enemies. So the fact that we have a tetrahedron here, which is a triangle-like shape, intended to be a cage to trap other demons within this game, makes perfect sense. Now, the only thing I will comment on, and I'm not sure if this was a oversight on the game developers or an allusion to what's going to be coming a little bit later in the game, is that the tetrahedron is technically a four-pointed polyhedron, not a true triangle. So it's possible this thing does not bind as it's supposed to. Yes, Draco, that's why in Persona, the demon Flauros in Shin Megami Tensei Persona is a fire user. Yep. Yeah, so it tells half-truths intended to confuse the summoner, unless it's bound in a triangle. Which in this case it isn't, which would make me question whether there's going to be a lot of lies coming in the future here. Now, one other cool detail is if anyone noticed, that lady was wearing a necktie, a very big necktie, which is kind of crazy. Oh, you little shithead. Come on, let me go through the door. There we go. Now, neckties nowadays we use as kind of just like a business attire type of thing. But back in the day, it was more symbolic of a hangman's noose. And the point of wearing a tie was you symbolically portraying to everyone around you that you were willing to die for your beliefs. So apparently this woman feels the same. Oh, there we go. Give me the ammo. Now, we don't obviously wear neckties for that reason anymore, but once upon a time. Like, a lot of what you see in these kind of occult or esoteric circles is based upon medieval beliefs about the world and understanding of symbology, so it's not as relevant now, at least in the common consciousness, but back in medieval times, 100%. Like the Marseille deck, for example, that we were just looking at, that's from the 15th century, I believe. Whereas Rider-Waite was like early 20th century. I think it was like 1903, 1904 is when it was developed. I could be wrong, though. And now we have the shopping district. Oh, look! Sagan. Carl Sagan. We have Crichton Street there on the left. We have Dean Koontz at the bottom. Yep. Bunch of author names. And we're good. We can access the other side of town. But they don't have Peter Straub. Well, we still have one more area, so who knows? Maybe they'll show up there. Alright, technically there is one location we can go to before we get into the next dungeon. But for... I'll just go ahead and say it. There's ammo in there, and I'm choosing not to get it yet because I want to have an ammo stash after we finish the dungeon. Because we're gonna lose ammo quite quickly, so I want to have some kind of stash after the fact. Oh god, I just ran face first into a trash can. Has anyone had one of those mornings where you... Maybe it's not a morning, maybe it's a bad night. You've had too much to drink and you just run face first. Hey guys, would you like to try a Konami burger? Because, you know, they just had to make an Easter egg over their own name right there. Alright. How far down? Oh, we already passed it. Alchemilla Hospital. I don't know what a Konami burger would taste like. No doggies. If horror isn't messed up, then it's not done right. I mean, honestly, the best horror for me is the ones where you walk out of there and you're still freaking out about it. I mean, scary movies can be startling where they give you the jump scares and you freak out, but as soon as you walk out, you're like, ah, dude, that was cool. But the ones that make you get existential dread and you're just freaking out about it, that was a gunshot. You're freaking out about it for weeks later, that's when you know they struck a nerve. Their phones and phone books, no need to examine this. And I know that door's locked, but let's examine it anyways, just so that we can have it on the map when we finally get the map. Do we have any? No other doors there. Okay, let's go.
Hold it.
And he missed.
Stop. Don't shoot. Wait. I'm not here to fight. My name is Harry Mason. I'm in town on vacation.
Thank God. Another human being.
Do you work here?
I'm Dr. Michael Kaufman. I work at this hospital.
So maybe you can tell me what's going on.
I really can't say. I was taking a nap in the staff room. When I woke up, it was like this. Everyone seems to have disappeared. And it's snowing out, this time of year. Something's gone seriously wrong. Did you see those monsters? Have you ever seen such aberrations? Ever even heard of such things?
I mean, I've seen a movie or two.
You and I both know creatures like that don't exist.
Yeah.
Do we both know that?
Have you seen a little girl anywhere? I'm looking for my daughter. She's only 7. Short, black hair.
She's missing. I'm sorry. But with all those monsters around, I highly doubt that she's... Sorry, I didn't mean to alarm you. Your wife, she's here with you?
She died 4 years ago. Now it's just me and my daughter.
I see. I'm sorry. Well, I'd better be going. I can't just sit around here doing nothing.
So long. Good luck out there.
I agree, Marma. I enjoy the slightly uncanny voice acting. I mean, I know that in the SH2 remake, the voice acting is objectively of a superior quality, but I think it loses something when they don't sound off, where you have that just uncanny valley feeling with the old original VAs. And I miss it, to be honest. Let's poke our heads around here. What do we got? Nothing unusual. Nothing unusual. I mean, there's stuff right there, but okay. I don't know, like, it's like we were talking about last time with the camera angles. Because this game has such weird camera angles, it's more unsettling than when you just the camera's following behind the main character in like a third-person shooter type of mode. It loses that cinematic horror feel to it. Let me just do a quick save. I don't think we'll need it, but let's do it just to do it. Well, I think with supernatural horror, it becomes more of a fantasy story that has graphic elements. That's how my brain processes it, not as a horror film. Like, horror for me is when it's done. When it's the most effective is when it's rooted in reality, something that could actually happen in real life. Otherwise, it's just a fantasy story. Bah. Camera. Flip. There we go. What are you? And the basement. Okay. Just poking our head around. Now, it's very obvious from the name of the hospital here. This is Alchemilla Hospital, named after alchemy. So we're going to be discussing a little bit of that. Not in full just yet, but we will discuss a little bit of that. Wait, what key did I just get? Basement key, gotcha. We're talking about books specifically. Weirdly enough, I haven't read a lot of horror books, Kess. My sister's been trying to force me into getting into Stephen King lately. Like, I've read Misery just because it was relevant to Alan Wake. And I'm starting the Dark Tower series because of Control. But that's as far as I've taken it. I'm only partway through Gunslinger at the moment. Yes, I've read House of Leaves, 100%. I'm actually going to be doing a reread of that at some point. I'm familiar with King in Yellow. I have not personally read it, but I'm very familiar with what it's supposed to be about. A plastic bottle. Yes, I do want you. Weirdly enough, the plastic bottle is a needed item in order to get the good plus ending of the game. Carrie is relevant to this game. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I can definitely picture that. Someone dropped their cherry Kool-Aid. A glass vial is shattered. Hey, beginning? What's going on? It has been a while. How you been doing? Okay. We got a red liquid found in the broken vial in the hospital director's room. Books are scattered everywhere. See, what's going to happen is because someone dropped their cherry Kool-Aid, you're going to see the Kool-Aid man just smash through the wall going like, hey, who smashed my shit? That's something, I think that's why the times have gone south. Is because we don't have enough Kool-Aid man memes anymore. Basement key. Let me check a couple things first before we go through it. Elevator doesn't seem to be working. Okay, I guess we're going into the basement right away. Crap. Crap. Ah, no, bugs! 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 Go away! Go away, bugs! Shite. Oh, screw you both. I don't like either of you. Okay, we're good. A YouTuber named Power Pack did a video on it. Alright. I'll keep it in mind. Hold on, wrong button. Janitor room, boiler room, storeroom. So the morgue is empty. Let's just go through these one at a time. See what happens. The in-house generator powers elevators, ICUs, and operating rooms only. Do you want to press it? Okay, now the elevators are working. I don't like that sound. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, my dad just had to go through cataracts beginning. Not the same thing as glaucoma, but yeah. And all of a sudden, my flashlight is no longer working. And the door's jammed. So we can't do anything on the second floor. Oh, okay. Well, let's head back up and take a look at floor 3. No, it's not that the battery died, Flarouche. It's just that we're not in an area that requires it. And floor 3 is locked as well. Okay, 1 second. I just need to make a note here. Okay, we're good. You played for this for the first time last October. How'd you enjoy it? And all of a sudden we have floor 4, which they're not supposed to have a 4th floor. But whatever. Especially if it's written by in Japan, floor 4 is where all the spooky stuff happens. If I understand, they don't have a 4th floor on any building, and they don't even have a like rooms at a hospital that have the number 4 in them. Because it's the I think the symbol is the same as 4 and death are very similar, and how it's pronounced. Kind of like how we don't do 13th floors here. Same thing. You don't have a map for this place. Did someone just unlock that door? Or did someone lock the door behind us? Yeah, someone just locked the door behind us. You little shit. Yes, I've seen 1408. I haven't read the book, but I have seen it. Now we're in a dark enough place to require a map. Or a flashlight, I should say. And someone just locked the door behind us, too. Who's messing with us? Exactly, no way to go but forward. So again, the mind that's sending us messages is guiding us. In a certain, depending on how you look at it. And now, all of a sudden, we definitely have a map. And we have nurses. And here we have the plate of turtle. And here starts our references to Alice in Wonderland. Hey there, Break. Hey, you finished streaming pretty early. You're normally streaming to like 8:30. Yep, so we have the mock turtle now. Which makes sense, because it's in the bathroom, which has a lot of water around it. Oh, gosh. So once we get all the plates, we'll talk about more how these interrelate with one another. But the mock turtle is going to be symbolic of water. And specifically, it's aligned with emotion, among other things. Because in... let's not go through there, because someone keeps breaking things right in front of us. But in the book, the mock turtle is very melancholy. He was very emotional, very polite, don't get me wrong, but a very emotional individual. Granted, Alice was kind of a jerk throughout most of the conversation, where every time he opened his mouth, she kept trying to insert her own experiences rather than listen to him talk. He was like, oh, I had this problem. She interrupts, oh yeah, I had that problem once. And the turtle keeps getting annoyed with her. It's like, I'm trying to trauma dump right here. Are you going to let me speak or not? It's a bird cage, and it's empty. Actually, weirdly enough, most of the book, the characters really did not like Alice. I think the cat was the only character that actually enjoyed her company. Okay, I want to remember which room this is. This is room 302 with the video. So there is a TV with a VCR here, so I want to remember this. That nurse is getting so annoyed with me. Oh, crap. Ow, ow. Stay away. Get away. Drop! Oh my lord, how many hits do you take? That did not sound like a moan of pain. I don't know. Moving on with life. So the nurses in this game are very different than the ones in subsequent games. A steel plate is screwed to the wall. If you look on their backs when they're walking around, they actually have parasites sticking out of their backs. Meaning that it's not either a fear or a sexualization of nurses like it was happening in the second game, but more the perception that these nurses are being overtaken by something. Now, it was confirmed by the developers that these are the real-life nurses and doctors that worked in this hospital. That they are not projections of the fog world or the other world, but they're actually real people, and they have been taken over by these parasites. Now, the parasites could be a perception. but the nurses themselves are real. Hi there. So I'm just gonna skip past here to change her spawn point, and then let's go on in. Oh, what's the point of that room? Hold on. Is there really even... There is no point of the linen room. Alright, whatever. So if it hasn't become noticeable yet, this level deals a lot with the number 4 when it comes to numerology. At the very beginning, Harry mentions that his wife died 4 years ago. We go to the 4th floor in order to start the nightmare section, or we're actually not even in the nightmare section yet, to get to the darker section, and then we have 4 plates we have to find. We're getting into the 4 elements, the 4 natural elements. And we got the one for the turtle, which is just water so far. Someone's going to ham on that piano? Oh, yes. Let's get ourselves a blood pack. Just in case we need a transfusion somewhere here. The trick is finding a non-tetanus-filled needle to do the transfusion. Okay. And if anyone wonders why I keep just going into rooms and leaving it, is I'm trying to, one, reset the spawn rate and the aggro of the enemies, but at the same time reset the camera. And letting me keep them in view. Come on. Come on. Kite over here. Because there's holes in the ground, I can block her path. And she won't be able to track. Oh, of course! And here I thought I was being clever. And there's a second nurse there. Clever girl. Oh god, they're chasing me! They're chasing me! Get the door! Get the door! Get the door! Yo, bitches! This is not how I imagined this threesome to go. Go away. Okay. I'm sorry, I prefer ladies that are not possessed by slug monsters. Just saying. Now we have the plate of the cat. So we got our Cheshire Cat here. Elements of air is its representation, and it deals with higher functioning and reasoning skills. If we want to apply this to the minor arcana, for example, even though that's not what the game's doing, of course, air representing the suit of swords, which also represents the intellect, and water representing the suit of cups, dealing with emotions. So it's the exact same system. It's kind of funny how all these different schools of thought, even though they're not technically related, they still use the elements and they still use these ideas in very similar ways, which I think is pretty cool. Now, one of the things with the Cheshire Cat in the book is he kind of is a representation of the over-intellectualization of things, where you get so wrapped up in your headspace that you start to lose sight of the practical, like, basics of basics. There's a scene when Alice comes to a crossroads, or like 2 separate paths, and the cat's sitting on a tree, and she's asking, well, which path should I take? And his response is simply, well, which way are you going? Or no, specifically, where are you trying to get to? And she doesn't know. She's like, I don't know where I don't care where I'm going. And at that point, Cat just tells her, okay, then who cares which path you take? You'll end up somewhere if you go either direction. So if you don't care where you're going, then what path you take to get there really is kind of irrelevant. Which I find a very humorous response. Wait, what floor are we on right now? Before I start picking... We're on 3. Let's just go down one at a time. And we can't go that way. So I guess we're going down to floor 1. You expected the floor to sound squishy? I don't know. As soon as we get to the other world, that might happen. Okay. And here's one of the doctors. Hello there, senor. Let's see what happens down in the basement real quick. This already looks like the other world. It's not yet. Maybe it's not yet. I could be wrong. We may already be in the other world. I just remember it looking a lot dirtier than this. Shoot. Yeah. Ah, stay away, stay away, stay away. Oh, shoot. No, I need to use a gun in this one. This is definitely a room where I need weapons. Run. Ah, let me go, let me go, let me go, let me go. Get off. Stop. Drop. Oh. Oh. Sorry. No, Marama, you have to say, "Excuse me, madam." This is my boomstick. Oh my gosh. Army of Darkness is so quotable. I love that film. Alright, let me see. We can still try the boiler room and the generator room. Let's see if we can get there without being grabbed by these thirsty nurses. And here is the best weapon in the game. The hammer. Now, the only downside of the hammer is you can't walk while using it. But it, like, you saw how last time I used the pipe on a nurse and it took like 8, 10, maybe like, I almost like 12 hits to drop her. Let's see what happens when we hammer the nurse. Oh, shoot! 3 hits. Done. Kick her, kick her, kick her, kick her, kick her, kick her. Yes, hammer times. Oh, break. I did not stutter. My phrasing was very intentional. Okay, let's see if I can do anything with this. Generator's on. Okay, yeah. So the only reason to come down here, other than the locked door, is the hammer. And even though we do get another melee weapon after this, I stick with the hammer for the rest of the game. Now, it's nowhere near as cool as Heather's secret weapon in the third game, where she literally gets a Sailor Moon outfit and shoots laser beams out of her eyes, but that's a whole other story. Come on. Done. See, hammer's great. Ooh, hello there. Stop banging the doors, people! Now we have the plate of the Queen. Queen of Hearts. Red for fire, naturally. And if we're going to go using the Minor Arcana references, it's going to be the Suit of Wands or Staffs, depending on which system you're using, which also deals with emotion. It's not necessarily emotion, but passion, more specifically. It's like that drive to do something. Like that passion you have for an artistic endeavor, so to speak. The the Queen of Hearts is actually the Queen of Wands, essentially. But she's kind of funny within the story, in the sense that if we interpret her as the fiery ego of Alice herself, it's raw, passionate, fiery emotion untempered by restraint. It's basically the id speaking with its desires at every point. Which is why it's kind of funny, even though after the croquet game she sentences everyone to lose their heads, as soon as she walks away, the king just turns around and pardons them all. Because you have that aspect of the mind, the masculine and feminine, one going completely batshit off the wall and making ridiculous emotive outputs, and then the other side of the mind, the logical part of the brain, comes in and says, okay, yeah, that's probably not a good idea. Oh, jeez, again. Done. So it's definitely intended to kind of play back in... Oh, shoot. Hold on. Play back into the unity of opposites aspect. Hold on, doctor. Let me grab my health drink, and I'll be out of your hair. Bye-bye. And the whole point of the unity of opposites in this is to take the logical and the emotional aspect of the brain and have them talk to each other, because you don't want one to work without the other. Too logical with no emotions, a very dangerous thing. That's when you justify killing millions of people in order to save billions. And you're like, it's perfectly fine. And then having unrestrained emotion without tempering by rationality also has a different problem, where you're just chaotic and lashing out at everything. So it's not an either or, it's a both in unison. Did anyone see skulls on the wall? I mean, there might have been. You blame me? She hears my calm voice and your animals attack you? I'm sorry. Puppy. Good girl, good girl. Keep beating up Draco. Done. So the real question is, why does the mind of the person creating this perceive all of the doctors and nurses at Alchemilla as being possessed by something? Because I would argue, in terms of this interpretation, that the mind manifested these parasites, but it's confirmed by the creators that these are the real people. Well, in terms of actual neuroscience, Break, the whole model of emotional one side of the brain and logical the other side of the brain is not truly accurate. It's more that one side of the brain sees a thing as it is, and the other side sees it as more like what it means, or like a symbolic interpretation of an object. I think that's the best I can put it. At least that's my understanding of it. Wait, hold on, we got one more room we missed. There's nothing in here. Great. Stop banging things on the wall. So I'm not going to comment yet, see Starflare on the possession aspect, or Marama on your comments either. We will get to it, but not yet. Okay. Hello there. And that's not going to work. Okay, so that's locked. Okay, I guess we're going up the stairs. You can never play the second game at night, even with headphones. Dude, it was actually really funny. Me and my buddy were playing this. I think we were like 12 at the time or something like that. And we would only play it in the middle of the night with headphones on. So it was like pitch black outside. And we were getting to the part at the beginning of the game where we have to look inside the doghouse. And right as we go to examine it, our neighbor's dog, or my neighbor's dog, just starts barking wildly because at a cat or something. So we literally thought when we were at that time, we were like 12 years old, that the dogs from the game were just outside my window and were trying to get inside. We freaked the hell out. It was great. Crap. Shit! There we go. Okay. That's up there. What is written on this wall here? Grim Reaper's List. Oh, that's a very cheerful thing to have in a hospital. It was horrible. We loved it. Seriously, Marama, if anyone's seen my love of horror games on this channel so far, you'll know that I'm not the most well-adjusted. So yes, it was horrible. It was amazing. That's our motto, 100%. Lydia Findley, Trevor White, Albert Lords, Roberta Morgan, and Edward Briggs. Clouds flowing over a hill, sky on a sunny day, tangerines that are bitter, lucky four-leaf clover, violets in the garden, dandelions along a path, unavoidable sleeping time, liquid flowing from a slashed wrist. And here's our next puzzle. Now, we're not ready to do this because we've only gotten 3 of the plates, but we will come back to this. Now, luckily, it's not as obtuse as, say, the bird puzzle with the piano. This puzzle is a lot more straightforward in terms of its poetry. Okay, we're good. I just heard that liquidy sound and freaked out. Hello there, tentacle monster! And it's covering up the green plate. It likes blood by the looks of it. And there are 3 tentacles again. Now, I could be projecting a little bit, but that could also be the Tria Prima references again. Blood pack. Go over there. It's like having a frickin' stack of ribs when you're trying to get past the dog. Thank you. Goodbye. And the plate of the Hatter. Green, representing Earth, and if we're gonna go off of that, the suit of pentacles or coins, very much material things, hence the Earth. Another weird thing with the whole Mad Hatter's Tea Party, it has to do with suspended time and frozen time. See what I'm talking about? The hammer is amazing. The hammer is absolutely incredible. I've actually read an interpretation of the Mad Hatter's Tea Party and the section where they all move 1 seat to the left, and they claim that everything is now different. That it might be literally just them making fun of the whole idea of daylight savings. But I don't know if daylight savings was even a thing at the point in time, so that could be projection. Who knows? No, there's a lot of people who make a lot of claims about these types of things. But an interesting part of that came up briefly in it is the distinction between Chronos and Kairos as 2 different entities of time. So, Chronos in Greek mythology is more to do with the division of time, where you have, okay, so we have 24 hours in the day, we have 12 months, we have 365 days a year, so on and so forth. We measure days by the cycle of the moon, so it's how you divide it evenly. Now, Kairos is supposed to be the representation of an indistinguishable space of time. It's when you're really, really bored in your classroom and you're watching the clock, and you have 15 minutes until the bell rings, and that 15 minutes feels like 2 hours. On the flip side, you're having a really good time, and a whole day goes by like as if no time has passed. Because our perception of time does change based upon our emotional state. That's proven in neuroscience. And it's also different based upon how close you are to a gravitational source. So Kairos is more the variable perception of time versus Chronos, which is the exact division of time. And there are some allusions to that within the Tea Party. And sometimes the clock is just broken. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Josh. But yeah, because as I'm saying this comment that I've read before about that whole daylight savings things, I'm thinking about, like, I don't even think that happened yet. It's funny because there was a interpretation of Wizard of Oz that I was actually talking to Break about it the other day, where I don't agree with the interpretation because they were talking about the Tin Man and how TIN represents the tax identification number. And I'm like, well, that book was written in the early 1900s and income tax wasn't a thing until like the 30s from what I gather, so there's no way the author was making that reference unless he had a time machine or crystal ball or something. Alright. So in order to get through this, let's take a look at the colors we have on the things. So at the top we have white, east is orange, south is purple, and left is black. Exactly, Marama. There's a degree of eisegesis that goes into it, which is when you try to interpret an older piece of art through the lens of your modern cultural mindset. So it's like trying to read something from 2,000 years ago and say, oh, they were talking about this idea that we just learned about 10 years ago. Well, no, because they didn't know about that 2,000 years ago, so there's no way they could have been referencing it. Okay, clouds floating over the hill, white at the top. Sky on a sunny day, which would be blue. Tangerines that are bitter, so now we have orange, which is in the east. So then these are literally just colors going around from the top of the clock, clockwise. So blue in the top right, lucky four-leaf clover, green in the bottom right, violets, which is at the bottom, dandelions, which are yellow, black, which is a sleeping time, and liquid flowing, which is red. Simple as that. Yeah, it just comes down to people wanting a piece of text to say what they want it to say. So they'll just come in and make those assertions. Okay, so red is going to be here. Now, red for fire is going to be a... hold on, let me bring up my notes real quick. So yeah, so it's definitely going to be a masculine gendered archetype. Green, feminine, because it has to do with the earth and the womb, just like Gaia is going to be feminine. Blue is going to be on the right, which is also a feminine element. So we have all the masculine on the left, feminine on the right, again, gold on the left, silver on the right. So we're bringing back the ideas brought up in the elementary school, just using it in different terms. Same thing. Alright. So now that we got to this point, this is when I'm going to start going on another one of my wild rants. Now, it's obvious to see that this level is dealing with the number 4, specifically the 4 basic elements. But because it's a hospital, I'm wondering if they're also talking about an idea called the 4 humors. Now, what the 4 humors were was a theory proposed by Hippocrates back in... when was he around? Was it like 300 BC? He's known as the father of modern medicine, hence why we have the Hippocratic Oath. Is named after him. Yeah, so he's 460 to 377 BC, so yeah. Alright. So let's pull up some of the artwork real quick, and we'll get into that. So the theory between the four humors was that the human body possessed 4 liquids that had to be kept in balance. And the reason I bring this up with medicines is because we're in a hospital, so I'm wondering if the developers might have been thinking about it, but I can't guarantee they are. But it doesn't matter. Let's just talk about it anyway, because I find it interesting. So let's go over to the screen here. So the theory behind the 4 humors is there was 4 liquids in the body that had to be kept in balance. So we had blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. And each of these were aligned with the 4 different elements. So we had the water here, the fire. The fire, actually, I think was yellow bile, to be honest. And it, so on and so forth. And the whole idea was that if one of these liquids became out of balance, then you would have to do something to counteract it. Hence why we got the whole idea of bloodletting. It wasn't just getting rid of infected blood, it was, oh, this liquid was too out of balance, so we had to remove some of this to counterbalance the black bile. It was weird, and the reason I bring this up is because in Alice in Wonderland, there is a scene where Alice is talking to the Duchess, and very specifically makes a mention to the 4 humors. And weirdly enough, a reinterpretation of it. Let me grab my copy of the book real quick, and I'll read this section. I didn't grab it before I sat down. 1 second. Where are you? Where are you? There you are. What's the purpose of yin-yang in the center of the graphic? Yeah, it's just the balance of the opposites. Again, it's talked about quite a bit here. Where are you? Talking to the Duchess, unfortunately, because it's right at the beginning of the Mock Turtle story, weirdly enough. So, long story short, when Alice first met the Duchess, she was kind of very aggressive and angry the entire time. And in the scene, there is a frog cook that's cooking a bowl of soup and using a lot of pepper. Now, pepper was considered a very fiery ingredient that would inspire the, again, element of fire. So the humor that represented fire would become overly stimulated if you ate anything spicy. Again, this is long debunked science, but at the time, in the medieval time, this was kind of how they thought things worked. So Alice started to wonder, well, maybe the reason that the Duchess was so mad at me was because she was eating a lot of pepper, and that's why she was so angry at that point in time. And later, she put right here, Alice is saying, when I'm a Duchess, I won't have any peppers in my kitchen at all. Soup does very well without. Maybe it's always pepper that makes people hot-tempered. She went on, very much pleased at having found out a new kind of rule. And vinegar makes them sour, chamomile makes them bitter, and barley sugar, and such things that make children sweet-tempered. So she's doing a reimagining of the 4 humors during that section. But there is a reason why, say, for example, you had an excess of phlegm, aka you had a cold. So if the liquid of phlegm was too much in the body, you would have a cold, so they would prescribe you pepper or something spicy in order to counteract the cold and clear up the congestion. Which, I don't know about some people, but going in and getting some spicy soup certainly helps me clear out my sinuses. So maybe they were onto something, I don't know. Who friggin' knows? But another interesting thing in conjunction of this... Oh my god, the cat's scratching at the door, which we're going to have to switch back over to my other monitor real quick, was that the 4 humors also had an association with something called the 4 temperaments. Hold on. Come on, are you going to switch the screen? No, not that one. So yeah, here's the same thing. Yeah, the 4 temperaments. So, remember, phlegm, they said you had a phlegmatic personality, which is these personality traits. If you had too much of the black bile, it was considered melancholic personality, which are these personality traits. Too caloric is yellow bile. And too much blood was the sanguine personality associated with these personality traits. And I'm wondering if what the mind who's envisioning this puzzle in the hospital is trying to get across is the balance of these 4 personality traits, as well as the medical balance of the 4 humors. Just a weird little connection there. And to get into more information, like yellow bile associated with the gallbladder, the spleen with the black bile, and so on and so forth. The heart and the brain. Besides the point, though. So yeah, weird stuff. Okay, let's exit out of here. Go back over here. I think that's about it. Oh. One last thing. I'm sorry, I completely forgot about it. Let's switch back. Since we're talking about the 4 images for that, see, it's represented by the black, white, yellow, and red. Well, weirdly enough, those 4 colors align perfectly with the system of alchemy where you have the 4 stages of alchemy. So now we talked about the 7, there's the 3, and then there's the 4. Black, white, yellow, red. Lining up with the same alchemical symbols. So I'm curious if it is true that we're talking about balancing the 4 humors. It's also referring to this 4 stages of alchemy at the same time. If that's the case, it'd just be crazy if the developers actually thought that far ahead. Because again, those 4 elements also line up with the 4 plates we just put into the door. So, who knows? I'm not saying that's what they were thinking, but that'd be insane if that is what they were thinking. Oh god, go away! And now we're back to reality. Oh crap! No, I'm gonna get messed up. Let me check my health before I get too far into this. I'm fine. No, stop it! Stop it! Okay, turn around. I just missed her entirely. They probably did, but because that stuff has been so used so much in general they didn't even mean it. And that's something that if you talk to anyone who's a student of like the Jungian philosophy of not just synchronicity, but just archetypes in general in the collective consciousness, is you can include stuff like that without meaning to. Whether that be it's so prevalent in the cultural mindset that you kind of can't get away from it, or you're just tapped in, creatively speaking, and you accidentally put something in that you weren't aware of. But who knows? Like, yeah, use it unconsciously. Drop. Or it can be something as simple as that the more you see, the more patterns you notice, and even if it's not intended patterns, the patterns are there regardless. Because I'll be honest, most of the stuff that I talk about in a lot of my edited videos, I seriously doubt the developers were thinking that. But on an archetypal basis, they are very... Oh, isn't that interesting? I didn't even notice... Hold on, I gotta kill this nurse so I can show you what I just saw. I didn't even realize that before. And again, this may not be intentional, but I'm wondering if it is. Come on, come on, come on. I can't see you, so you have to come to me, sweetheart. Okay, this may be completely... Oh, shoot. Now, the grates that are under our feet right now, or feetsies, Jesus, are probably just grates. But when I walk past this, now that I'm looking at it, I don't think this is intentional. It's just it's a low poly res on the grate system. But this looked like a freaking chessboard. or like a checkerboard pattern of the whites and the blacks, which again is right out of Through the Looking Glass, but it's just a great and low poly, so that's completely wrong. Ignore me. Fleurus, Caloric, Queen, Melancholy, Mock Turtle, Phlegmatic, Cat, Sanguine, the Mad Hatter. Yep, exactly. Yeah, the 4 humors and the 4 personality traits line up with the characters that of the plates from Alice in Wonderland we just put in. It's kind of weird. Disinfecting alcohol. Stop kicking them, you're making your girl parts hurt. Sorry. But yeah, the second I get the hammer, my fear of enemies in this game kind of just disappears. But that would be really cool if they did include a checkerboard in here for the reference to Through the Looking Glass. You with the pipe in the second game. I don't remember how strong the pipe was in the second game, so I can't comment on that just yet, unfortunately. Okay. Now, I'm trying to remember where that thing was. I just want to make sure I don't miss it. I don't know. I'm trying to remember, how do I get into... Do I have the key? Do I have the exam room key or not? Hold on. Basement storeroom key, that's the one I have. Okay. There we go, that's what I'm looking for. Okay. So let's head back down to the basement floor and go through. You keep thinking someone's going to jump through the windows. No, this isn't Resident Evil 1 in that hallway where the dog jumps through. A lot of horror games at some point turn into a power fantasy, but most don't have the hammer in the second episode. No shit. I mean, I think that's why Homecoming is probably... Well, maybe not the reason Homecoming's not as enjoyed, but when Silent Hill started becoming like an action horror game is when I tuned out a little bit, because you're not supposed to feel powerful. This dude is literally just an average dude. He doesn't have combat experience. You're not... And the second you start feeling like you can take on the world in a Silent Hill game is when it stops being frightening. Oh, shoot, no. I'm already in the basement. Oh, weirdly enough. So, remember how everyone was making Alan Wake jokes? On the first stream? I completely forgot about this, but in the novelization, which just recently got translated in full to English, apparently Harry actually has written a book. Because he has this whole deal where he's afraid, he has like this fear of like kidnappers and murderers and child predators and stuff like that. So he wrote a book that has to do with I think it's called like the Mask of the Criminal, where he deals with how people all around us have these evil intentions we never know. We walk past them every day. So literally, Harry is an author, at least in the novelization. It's been fan translated, so not an official release, but it's a fan translation. But again, that's just in the novelization and not the game, so take that for what canonicity you want. Push the cabinet. Looks like the hallway just under the grate. Can't move it since the vines have grown around it. Well, lucky for them, we know how to make fire. Disinfecting alcohol. And fire. Yes, when did the crowns become a thing? Because I just noticed that starting to become a thing. What do the crowns even mean? I'll be honest, I don't even know. Because like at first I thought they were like the one who comments the most is gonna show up there, but I don't know if that's even accurate. It's a chat level. Okay. Ah! Stay away! Stay away! Stay away! Leave me alone! See, this is why I need to carry a pocket full of leaves, so I can say that, leave me alone! Okay. Let's go back to the door, and then we can track on the wall the doors we have and have not entered yet. Oh, again? Get off me, get off me, get off me. I missed entirely. I'm gonna get stun locked here. I'm getting stun locked here. Okay, I think I got one of them down. Nope. Okay, I need to check my health real quick. And I'm still green, because no one's actually hit me with a knife yet. Oh my gosh. Okay, I got one hit in. Oh, this is bad! Get me out of the corner! Okay, am I going crazy? There we go, one's down. There we go. I don't care if they want my autograph. No. No! They're not allowed to have my autograph. Okay, seriously, there's someone here just trolling us at this point. Slamming doors, locking them, breaking glass, knocking things. Okay, I'm out of this room. I can't see where you are. Missed it. Go away. That room is horrible. All it is just there to screw with you. It's just there to troll you, and I hate it. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to make sure we didn't miss the VHS tape, so I'm glad we found it. No, Draco, we're not starting that whole shipping me with every monster girl we see. That's not happening again.
What's this? Looks like someone's been here.
Alessa. That's the girl we saw in the boiler room and walking into that one building at the start of the hospital. Oh, Joshua, yes, I did mention the odd name of it, and that's why I bring up all those things when we're talking about the four humors and its color association with the a certain system of alchemy where it's the four stages, is because this hospital is literally called Alchemilla, the alchemy hospital. It's literally called the Alchemy Hospital. Sammy, what are you barking about? Sammy, what are you doing? What were we just talking about? The dogs just randomly showing up? You thought it came from the game? No. No, that's Samwise the Brave, deciding to be angry. And here is the wheelchair yet again. Yeah, I think Draco started that when we were playing Evil Within. If I remember correctly. And now we have that creepy fleshy ground. Alright. And which key did we just pick up? Probably should have read it. The examination room key. Okay, so now we can exit through there. But first, we need to go to room 302, because that's where we can play the video. So that's going to be up on the 3rd floor. Let me just make sure we haven't missed any rooms. So yeah, the medicine room, that's where we go for the story. We got everything here. And we just have to return to room 302 so we can watch that VHS tape. Otherwise, we're good. Alrighty, so let's do this. Boo-doo. Dark presences for the streets. What the hell? That is a sentence I've never thought I'd read in my life. Wait, am I in the right room? I'm in the right room. Alrighties. Still something unusual. Fever. Don't get pulse. Joshua, I think the one you're referring to, it does. I think that does show up in the game, but I don't think it's called Alchemilla. It's like a glophagus or something like that. But there is a material in this game that I think is what you're thinking of, because it was at some point used for treating lady issues and menstrual pain and stuff like that. It was like a Greek herb or plant or something like that, and they do reference it later in the game. Is Sam caloric? No. Poor boy. Nah, he's just seeing people walking right outside the window and thinking people are invading the house. Okay. So now let's head back down to the 1st floor. Actually, we might be able to just use the staircase. No. Actually, yes, we can. Let's just use the staircase rather than running past those nurses. Alright, here we go. Let's do this. Well, hello there.
Finally, someone else who's okay.
Who are you?
My name's Lisa Garland. What's yours?
Harry Mason.
Harry, tell me what's happening here. Where is everybody? I must have gotten knocked out. When I came to, everyone was gone. It's awful.
So you don't know anything either. Great. I just don't get it. It's like this is all some kind of bad dream.
Yeah, a living nightmare.
Let me ask you, have you seen a little girl around here? Short, black hair, 7 years old?
A 7-year-old girl. What, she's your daughter?
Yes.
A 7-year-old girl. I can't say that I have. I was unconscious all this time.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
That's funny.
That's all right. Do you know anything about all that weird stuff in the basement?
No? Why? Is there something down there?
You don't know? Don't you work here?
We're under strict orders never to enter the basement storeroom. So I really don't know. What did you say was down there?
Well, it's... Damn! My head.
What's wrong? Harry? Harry, let me help you. Harry?
And now we're back in the fog world.
Was I dreaming?
So no, we were in the other world. I take that back.
You were too late.
It's you.
Yes, Dahlia Gillespie.
Tell me everything you know. What's going on?
Darkness. The town is being devoured by darkness. Strength must overcome petty desire, childish sleep talk. I knew this day would come.
What are you talking about? I don't understand a word of this.
Believe the evidence of your eyes. The other church in this town, that is your destination. This is beyond my abilities. Only you can stop it now. Have you not seen the crest marked on the ground all over town?
I saw one at the school.
So that's what I saw in the schoolyard.
Yep.
What does it mean?
It is the mark of Samael. Don't let it be completed.
Hey, wait!
Lady! Speak what you mean. Actually, she is. Everything she's saying makes perfect sense, but she's also... Not to get into it just yet, but I wonder if Flauros was properly bound and summoned within a triangle or not. And that's the kind of the question you have to keep in the back of your head ever since we left the church. But yes, just to backtrack and chat a little bit, yes, Lisa Garland is named for Judy Garland. And Alice was 7, roughly, when she went into Wonderland, which matches Cheryl's age in the game. Now, it may seem a little bit odd why we're keep coming back to illusions in this game from those 2 books. Well, it's the same reason why we had pterodactyls manifested at the beginning of the game. the mind that's creating all of this read Alice in Wonderland at one point, and they know it very well. They read Wizard of Oz at one point, and they know it very well. So, of course, the characteristics of this town are going to be taking shape as a result of this character's love of literature. Or this character's experience with literature, I should say. No, Cat, I don't trust you right now. The wires are too crazy and she'll knock... If anyone's wondering why Zoe hasn't joined us, it's because I have wires literally trailing all over my desk right now just to get the PS3 to work on stream. And I know she's going to disconnect something if she gets in here. Unfortunately. Oh, you noticed that, Cass, that Lisa disappeared? Well, she did say she was unconscious the entire time, so... She only appeared in the other world. But the second we arrived here in the fog world, she vanished. Because this is the exact same room where we were talking to Lisa. Yeah, that's the cat making the racket. Normally I let her into my office while we stream, but because of how the wires are positioned, she's going to rip something out and it's going to break the stream. I don't really want to deal with that. But my roommate's here, so she'll get bored and go over to him at some point. Run, doggy! Yeah, for some reason, the courtyard of the hospital is full of dogs. Don't know why. Don't know why. Yeah, she'll do that nonstop if the door's closed. Just imagine how she does that in the middle of the night when I'm trying to sleep. Okay, so now we're gonna go to that one spot that I said I was not gonna go to originally, but now I feel we can go to it. Weirdly enough, we only used, what, 4 or 5 shotgun shells that entire dungeon? Where's the... Oh god, these guys! I don't like those guys. Hey, Jamie! How are you doing? It's been a while. How are you recovering? I haven't talked to you about everything since everything went down. We are now into the police station. Because we have lots of ammo here. Yeah, Kuntz Street. That's Dean Kuntz is the reference there. Hey, hey, frame into focus? Wow. Lots of people jumping in. How you doing? I'm glad you're recovering well. Yeah, my dad just had one 6 months back, and he's recovering very well as well. He was very lucky. It hit the mobility section, and that's it. And so, but he's recovered quick. It was just an ischemic attack, so it wasn't a full-on stroke, but yeah. But I'm glad to hear you're doing well. There's something on it. Product only available in the selected areas of Silent Hill. Okay, hold on. I need to go do something with the cat real quick. I will be right back. Never mind, it actually wasn't the cat, it was Sammy. Puppy, come here, come here. Come here, doggo. Come here, doggo. Give me some love. Come here. So Sammy joined us instead. No wonder the scratching of the door sounded way too loud. It wasn't a cat, it was the dog. Alright. Product only available in select areas of Silent Hill. Raw material is White Claudia, a plant peculiar to the region. Manufactured here, dealer equals manufacturer. White Claudia, yes, I do say. There's a memo on the desk. Coroner Seals called. Officer Gucci, yes, his name is Gucci, is unlikely to be murdered. He apparently died naturally, but medical records show Officer Gucci had no prior symptoms of heart disease. So, what we gather from this is there is an illicit drug situation here in Silent Hill. Something being manufactured from using White Claudia. Now, they don't go into too much detail on this, but I'll just go ahead and say it right now. It is a hallucinogenic street drug. I think it's called PTV. And there's a widespread drug trade here in the town. Now, that's just a set piece for other things going on, but we'll talk about that later. Yes, that's snow outside. It's actually funny because in the game they very specifically say that it's snowing outside, but because the movie decided to set it over a coal town, everyone thinks it's ash. Because in the movie it was ash, so therefore everyone sees it and go, oh, it's ash in Silent Hill. No, this is snow. The game specifically says so. People have a misconception of the games because of the movie. I don't know. Who knows why snow? Come on, where's the door? Here we go. Alrighty, now here is a very interesting location, which we're going to go inside to avoid getting attacked first. But this is called the Green Lion Antique Shop, and if you see right next to the opening, even though it's low res, we have a green lion right there. Now, people may say that is just very random, but it's not. Let's go inside. There's a clock. Nothing special about it. Oh, that's actually exactly what I'm going to get into, Jamie. As the green line eating the sun is very significant. Just to read your line, very significant alchemical symbolism. So, on that note, let me bring up that picture and we'll switch over. Kitching. There we go. And over here. So the green line, this is the some of the original artwork that deals with this specifically. Now, the deal with this is one, green is going to be a reflection that this is an unmatured or an unripened ego, or a soul, so to speak. This is an unripened lion. Now you have the 7 stars here that are red. These are the stars representing the 7 stages of the alchemical process that are moving towards creating gold. Now we have the sun here, which is the current modern ego. This is your ego of yourself. So the unmatured lion is consuming this sun, and then a new sun is emerging out of the river. Now the river is going to be a symbol of the unconscious, so you have a new personality, a new ego is taking place into the sky after the old ego is destroyed. And what's the first stage of the alchemical process? Now, I haven't mentioned it in this stream, but I talk about it in other games all the time. Calcination. Fire. It's the disintegration and the death of the original ego. And it turns it to ash. Hence why in the fight with the lizard we had that body that was on fire in the center of the boss arena. And the whole point is you disintegrate the ego, and then through the course of going through the 7 stages, you produce the new ego, which is going to be represented by this emerging from the waters of the unconscious. And this antique shop has the green lion eating the sun right out front. Yep. The developers really knew what they were talking about. So the green lion is literally the alchemical process in one image, without getting into the nitty-gritty about what each of those are referencing. But let's switch back real quick. And here's what I was referring to. So this is the calcination phase. Now, while we were in the elementary school, we talked about coagulation and distillation, but this specifically talking about calcination. Here are the 7 stars leading to the coagulation of the Philosopher's Stone. That's in the exoteric sense, while in the esoteric sense, that's spiritual alchemy, which is the development of the new ego.
What's this?
Harry!
Sybil?
I'm glad you're okay. I shouldn't have left you. Things are worse than I thought. It's nuts.
What are you doing here? I thought you left town.
I saw you go in here, so I followed you. I couldn't get out. All the roads out of town are blocked. Cars have completely stopped running. The phones and radios are still out too.
What about my daughter? Did you see her?
I did see a girl.
Was it Cheryl?
I only caught a glimpse of her through the fog. I went after her, but she vanished. I don't know about your daughter, but...
And you just let her go? Where was it?
On Bachman Road. She was heading towards the lake. Now don't get excited. It wasn't like she ran off exactly. There was no place for her to go. The road has been obliterated.
What? So then Cheryl...
It was like she was walking on thin air. What about you? Anything?
Yeah, I met this bizarre woman. Her name's Dahlia Gillespie. Do you know her?
Dahlia Gillespie? No. And?
She said something about the town being devoured by darkness. Gibberish like that. Any idea what it means?
Darkness devouring the town? Must be on drugs. They sell them to the tourists. The Force still can't figure out who's behind it. None of our leads have panned out. And the investigation is stalled.
What could drug trafficking have to do with all this?
I really don't know. But maybe that's the darkness she was talking about. That's all I can think of. What's this?
Just discovered it. Maybe there's something back there.
Let's have a look.
Wait. We don't know what's back there. I'd better check it out first.
I'm a cop. I should go.
No, I'm going.
All right. I'll cover you from here. Be careful. If anything looks fishy, get back here on the double.
Okay. Sybil,
Yeah?
do you know anything about... well, like some other world? It's like some kind of bad dream.
What are you talking about?
I'm not quite sure. I try to make sense of it, but then my mind goes blank. Everything's dark there, and I hear sirens in the distance. I met this nurse, Lisa. It's like I was there, but not really. It's all a blur, like some kind of hallucination, you know?
I have no idea what you're talking about, Harry.
I was just wondering. Never mind.
Harry, you're tired.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, we are back. All right, so to answer your earlier question, Frame, yes, we have been looking into esoteric alchemy and spiritual alchemy throughout the entirety of this playthrough so far. That's one of the things we're focusing on. Also, we're dealing a lot with tarot and other things as we go when it becomes relevant, which actually, weirdly enough, in the very next room, it will be relevant. And the other question is Sybil reference to the 1976 film Sybil. I don't know, because I've never heard of that film. I'll definitely look into it. But it's also a reference to a title that was given to prophetess, like Greek prophets. There's a title of Sibylla, which was earmarked towards their female prophets. Which is more likely because she also comes from the town of Brams, which is a contraction for Abram or Abraham, which is also a biblical prophet. So most likely that's where it's from, but I'll take a look at the film and see if there's anything I can glean from that, though. That would be crazy.
What's this? Some kind of altar. Never seen anything like this before. Maybe this is the other church.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to check it out then. I mean, I wonder if that's why they included this little bit about the drug trade at this point in the game. Because it's gonna make you question if Harry's being accidentally dosed on White Claudia, aka PTV. Kind of like throughout Alan Wake, you're questioning if he's just having sleep deprivation psychosis, and that's why everything is going on. Looks like we do have an altar right here. Samael, the poison of God. And on the wall, we have an axe. Really? Break, Sybil's talked about in cybersecurity? Well, I don't know anything about the film, so I don't know where the relevance is, but interesting. And we take the axe off the wall. We got a chalice here on... Okay, well, that's all we have in here is an axe.
What the?
And then the fire, the chalice erupts into flames.
Harry? Are you okay? Harry?
Makes perfect sense. Considering we're inside of a place that's labeled after the Green Lion, we take a symbol of our animalistic feral nature, which is the axe. It's a one-sided blade only used for wild things. And then the fire emerges to burn away the ego. And we're back with Lisa.
Where am I?
Back in the hospital.
Harry.
Lisa? That I'm in the hospital?
You were having a bad dream.
Was I? Hey, you don't look too good. Are you okay?
I'm fine. Nothing you need to worry about.
Well, if you're sure. Lisa, do you know a woman named Dahlia Gillespie?
Oh yeah, that crazy Gillespie lady. She's kind of famous around here. She never sees anybody, so I don't know that much about her. But I heard her kid died in a fire, and supposedly she's been crazy ever since.
Well, she says the town is being devoured by the darkness. Do you have any idea what she's talking about?
The town devoured by the darkness.
Well, there is a giant lake here, like,
Yes, I think I do.
maybe it's another gateway to the
Before
underworld.
This place was turned into a resort. The townspeople here were on the quiet side.
Yep, Toluca.
Everybody followed some kind of queer religion. Weird occult stuff. Black magic, that kind of thing. As young people moved away, the people figured they'd been summoned by the gods. Evidently, things like that used to happen around here all the time. Before the resort, there really wasn't anything else out here. Everyone was so flipped out, gotta blame it on something. Then a lot of new people came in and everybody clammed up about it.
A cult.
Last time I heard anything about it was, gosh, years ago. When several people connected with developing the town died in accidents. People said it was a curse. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm rambling. I'll shut up.
Was that another dream? Did I pass out again?
I don't want to think so, but maybe this is all just going on in my head. I could have a car accident, and now I'm lying unconscious in a hospital. I don't know what's real anymore. Sybil said Cheryl was heading towards the lake, but the road to the lake is blocked. Aren't there any other roads? Lisa would probably know. So I'm not going to reference what specifically Lisa is yet, Frame, just because it'll be spoilers, or what's going on with her, so I won't say if she's anima or whatever. Now, it's important to keep in mind in this is we are not going through Harry's mental scape. This is not coming from him. It's coming from somebody else. And that's why if it's people who play the second game and then come back to the older ones or to the other games in the franchise always come to with this presumption that we're kind of going through the main character's mental scape. That's not the case. In this one, at least. Well, it's different every time. So, Call Me Kess, this one specifically, there is a reason for it, but we won't be able to discuss it yet. And arguably, this game explains the reason why the town is the way it is. Alright, so we were in the basement of the Green Lion, somehow showed up in the other world of the hospital. We have the seal on the ground here. And now we're in the other world of the Green Lion antique shop. Seems like Lisa only shows up while we're in the other world. Just saying. Alright, well, we can actually tackle that topic real quick, Marama. So one hypothesis that I've heard others say regarding what's going on with Silent Hill F, which is the new one set to come out, I think it's later this year, and it's taking place in Japan, is a possibility that the origin of the plant White Claudia came from Japan originally, and then later got transposed over here onto the shores of Toluca Lake. So it's discussing the same plant that PTV is being made out of, that's hallucinogenic, was originally native to that region of Japan and then later transported here. And that's where the quote-unquote connection to Silent Hill is, but I don't know if that's accurate because the game hasn't come out yet, but that's just some wild tinfoil hat theory I've seen passed around. Alright. We gotta run. Ah! Oh, you little jagoff. Well, it's not just Silent Hill 3 and 4. I mean, technically, Homecoming had it in the neighboring town of Shepherd's Glen. Things were happening there as well. Ah! Alright. Oh my gosh, too much stuff, too much stuff, too much stuff. Oh my lord, oh my god. I am going to get my shit rocked. Alright, I think I can take one more hit before... Maybe I can't take one more hit. Ow. Go through the gate, go through the gate, go through the gate, go through the gate! Go, 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 go. Okay, we're good. Okay, we're safe. 16 health drinks. I think we're good for the time being. Well, I will say, Joshua, that no, this series is not about people tripping balls on hallucinogens. That is not what the series is about. But it is just a subplot of other things happening here. No, Pyramid Head... Okay, I'm gonna go out and do a hot take. Pyramid Head only shows up in Silent Hill 2. Whoever the hell thought it was a good idea to put Pyramid Head in Homecoming doesn't know what the hell they're talking about, because Pyramid Head very specifically is a manifestation, or specifically a projection of James. Only James. Now, if you want to get into a... secondary thing about Pyramid Head, which isn't confirmed, but it's also a possibility that Pyramid Head is a avatar or manifestation of the red god Zuchelbara. So there's two... Okay, getting into a little bit of deep lore. There's two gods in Silent Hill, the yellow god and the red god. And the red god has been known to manifest in different forms. So there's a fan theory that Pyramid Head is just a manifestation of the red god that James projected. Specifically, he did, only him. But that's a whole other story, and we will not go much further into it than that. I'm not going to say the word, but I know what you're saying, Marama, the V word, and that is also considered to be a projection of the red god. But specifically one manifested for that protagonist's stuff. Alright. Now for the trippiest part. We're about to save and end off very shortly, but now we have some weird shit.
Cheryl.
Alright. So now this one, I honestly, when I first played this, the first dozen times I've played this game, I didn't know what the hell this was about. But apparently, all the symbols, not that one, but all of these other symbols, actually have very, very specific meanings. Now, I'm going to thank, and again, whoever hasn't already, I would direct you over to reinstall Paul's video series on the esoteric symbolism and ritualistic practices found in the Silent Hill games. But each of those symbols, weirdly enough, aligns with the 7 Olympic spirits. And when I say Olympic spirits, I'm not talking about, like, Greek. It's more of a medieval angelic pantheon. So we're going to switch over to my other screen real quick and talk about that. So look at those symbols real quick while I pull up the video, or pull up the picture, and keep them memorized. Where are you? So those exact same symbols are shown right here. And they represent Eritron, Bethor, Phaleg, Oak, Haggith, Othiel, and Fool. Now, if you look at the astrology aspect, we start with Saturn, Jupiter, Mars. We have Oak as the sun, Venus, Mercury, and Luna, which is the moon. And outside of that, we have the 7 archangels, who are, these are kind of like, I wouldn't say servants, but they are below the archangels, but besides the point. So each of those 7 symbols on the TV screens that Harry's looking at as we speak specifically line up with these 7 Olympic spirits, which line up with these 7 astrological signs. Now, why is that relevant? Because if we start with Saturn and work our way in a specific order all the way to Sol, we literally lines up perfectly with the astrology of the 7 stages of alchemy, meaning that those symbols on the TV screen represent the angels of the 7 stages of the alchemical process. So yes, the game developers very much wanted us to keep alchemy in the back of our head as we play through the entire game. Very, very specifically. So I knew it was actually just sports propaganda. No shit. Yeah, no, it's really cool. And we have to keep this in mind when we get to a later dungeon. Again, the mind of the person creating all of this is trying to teach us something. This character wants us to focus on this and learn what all of this means. Yes, Full Metal Alchemist references this as well. Yeah, it's the astrology of the planets, not the zodiacs. That is an important thing. The one that's red, I believe, is supposed to reference Auk, which is the spirit as aligning with Sol, the sun, gold, and it's red because that's the final phase of the alchemical process where we get the rubedo. Now, actually, let's go back real quick. Let's go back. So I do have. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So in certain systems, there's 4 stages where Negredo is the calcination phase, and Rubedo would be the final phase of coagulation, where the Philosopher's Stone, aka the end of this spiritual alchemy, finishes. It's always portrayed as red. Now, if we want to look at a different variation of this, where there's only 3 versions, where we have the black, white, and the red, we also have that here, but always it ends in the red. And that's why the TV screen that represents the spirit of Auk, OCH, is labeled as red. And that's all I got to say to that for the time being. And the whole point of spiritual alchemy is the transformation of the ego. As we just saw with the green line eating the sun, you're consuming the old ego, which represents the death of the old with the fire of calcination, destroying it, and then by the time you get to gold, the new ego presents itself, and it's a purified, refined, and fully developed ego. It's when the green line turns red. Now do days of the week. Oh gosh. Dude, if I went into every single variation of this, we would be here literally all night. We would literally be here all night. Okay, what do we have in here? Is this just used for aesthetic reason, or is there some moral or spiritual message? It's a spiritual message. Again, everything that's being projected into the fog world and the other world is a message being sent to Harry by the mind that's manifesting this. This person is trying to teach him something, most likely because this character had to go through the exact same initiatory ritualistic practices. Harry's experiencing a literal ritual in real time. And by extension, us, the player, are having to go through the same ritual. And you can tell through Harry's personality throughout the entire process that he's becoming more knowledgeable about certain things. At the start, he's like, I don't know what's going on. And then by the end of it, he's like, oh no, I know exactly what's happening. His ego is being tempered and refined. Using older terms, it's being done through a crucible. Now, a crucible in metalworking is just a pot where you melt metals into. And you purify it, turn pure iron into steel and stuff along those lines. But it's also the root where we get the word crucify or crucifix. Because the word crucifixion literally just means purification through flame, which, again, is exactly what we're talking about here. Calcination is the burning of the ego, crucifixion, purification. So it's a summing up the entire process in a couple words. Yeah, that's Zoe scratching at the door now. What do I got? Okay, hold on. I want to check something real quick before I walk forward. Because I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Okay. No, we're good. Alright, let's go. Ow. And I want to keep everyone's mind focused on the entire idea of metamorphosis using alchemy as the transformation process. Because guess what we have right here? Literally the larval stage. We have a caterpillar. We literally have a caterpillar. And we're going to take a lot of damage here. Yeah, very convenient gun store location. I'm not even going to try to avoid damage. I'm just going to tank it. Done. Where's the hookah? I do not know where the hookah is. It sounds like a piggy. Who knows? Okay, now we have one more place we gotta run to. We're all the way here, and we have to make it all the way back to the hospital. I'm scared. This is a long run. Because at this point, we're literally in the nightmare. Or we're in the other world as we speak. After we did the ritual in the Green Line Antique Shop, we got transported here. Now, according to the game developers, all the windmills that are turning around right here, also the fan blades at the school, because they're cyclical, they're intended to be a representation of reincarnation. Which again would go into the entire idea of death, resurrection, the moth into the butterfly, alchemy going from calcination to the coagulation phase. with the green line. All, like, the symbols throughout the game are very... they repeat themselves. Yes, Samsara. Yeah. Now, if you want more information on that frame to focus, again, I'd recommend reinstall Paul's video. He does talk about samsara, among other things, with Hindu and Vedic philosophy, which I'm not too well versed in that, so I couldn't speak to it, unfortunately. But he goes into that in much more detail, so I'd recommend it. I actually have his channel linked in the description of the video. Oh, what actually hit me? You know what? You deserve a cookie. I think that's the only one that's hit me the entire game. Alright. Alright, but we're not going to the hospital. Ah, get away from me. We're heading up the stairs. To the top of the post office. Okay. He's like, oh my god. And let's pull out the rifle. Oh crap. Wait. No. I lied. I did need to go to the hospital. I'm not supposed to be here yet. Shoot. I'm an idiot. I did things out of order. We were supposed to go see Lisa. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Okay, we're good. Like, we do need to go to the rooftop of the post office, but not yet. We want to go see our nurse friend, who weirdly enough only shows up in the nightmare.
Harry!
Glad you're okay.
Thank God you came back. I was scared to be here all alone.
I'm here now. I was worried too. I'm real happy to see you. Lisa, can you tell me how to get to the lake?
The lake? You take Bachman Road.
The road's blocked.
Well, that's the only way out there.
Are you sure? There's gotta be another way.
Wait! I just remembered something!
There's a waterworks over by my old elementary school.
I think it just bugged out and the voice didn't come through.
It's been abandoned for years. There's an underground tunnel out there used for inspections or something. I remember hearing it runs all the way to the lake.
Really? You think I can get to the lake from there?
I've never been down in there myself, so I'm not positive. Besides, it's all fenced off to keep people out.
If there's a chance, I've got to try.
Harry, don't go! I don't want to be alone. It's so scary, I can't stand it.
How about coming with me? This may not be the safest place in the world either. I can't promise you anything, but I'll do my best to protect you.
No. Somehow I feel I'm not supposed to leave this place. Oh, Harry, I'm so scared and cold.
Look, just wait here a little longer. I'll be back as soon as I find my daughter.
Harry?
So what do you guys all think about this game getting remade and how they're gonna adjust it? And guess what? She's gone. Completely gone. Like, I'm so interested to see what they're going to do with it. Zero faith in it if they do it. I mean, like, the biggest issue I think I had with the Silent Hill 2 remake, which I haven't played yet, by the way, I've just seen it being played, is that, one, the game went on too long, in my opinion. The puzzles that they added in didn't serve any thematic purpose. They were just puzzles for the sake of puzzles. Well, okay, I take that back. Not that they didn't serve thematic purpose, but they didn't have the same kind of esoteric symbolism that the original puzzles and this game's puzzles do. Because I don't think the developers from Bloober really understood everything under the hood that we're talking about here, that is part of the DNA of Silent Hill, so they couldn't really recreate that feeling. And I think that's the problem with all the games after 4 as well, is they just didn't, the developers didn't understand it, the writers didn't get all the esoteric symbolism, so they couldn't make new ones. Oh look, the dogs are gone. And all the pterodactyls are gone. But yeah, at a certain point, when you put too much in it without understanding the source material, you eventually dilute the story to the point where you focus on the exoteric storytelling and you miss out on all the esoteric storytelling. Like right here, now we have the moth, we have the butterfly. The caterpillar has grown up and finished its transformation process. Ow. I'm probably just going to tank this, because I am going to get my shit rocked. She sounds like Mothra. Ow. Ow. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to switch, because I'm almost out of ammo there. Yeah, the camera's shite in this. Because you can't really see it. Oh my lord. Okay, how much more ammo do I have with the shotgun? I got 31 shots, but let's swap over to the pistol. I think I might be able to take one more hit and I can use the med pack. Done. So, yep. Right after going through a alchemical transformation hospital, we saw the green line, which is about the transformation of the ego. We ended up seeing the Olympic spirit, which is about the transformation from the 7 stages of alchemy, and now we have the caterpillar and the butterfly. Over and over and over, they keep hammering this idea home. I don't know if moths have 6 arms, to be honest. I frankly do not know. They're an insect, so I presume they would, but no clue. But yeah, just because, like, in the same token that the elementary school kept hammering home the idea of the unity of opposites, this one is consistently hammering home other things. Google says yes. Well, alright then. Alright. So let's go ahead and head back to the police station real quick just to save, and then we will unfortunately have to end this off today. Because as soon as we get into the next area, we're going to be locked in and very quickly come to the next dungeon. Oh my lord! Get off of me. I don't know what was worse, that guy tackling me to the ground or all the freaking nurses trying to start a freaking threesome with me in the hospital. I don't know which was worse. They're both kind of upsetting me. Like, I'm trying not to use the health packs unless I'm in red, but I'm never getting to red. Alright. Alright, everybody. That will be it for today. We'll probably pick this up again next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, where, honestly, we may be finishing the game. Because we're going to very rapidly get put into the final dungeon, and then... yeah, we're really close. We're already, I'd say, 2/3 of the way through the game, which is kind of crazy. This is a short game. And the thing is, everything is short and concise, and it gets the point across, versus adding a bunch of filler and padding, which kind of takes away from the pacing, it takes away from the point of the story, which is why I think the originals are still going to be a superior product to the remakes, but that's me being a fuddy-duddy. Anyways, Joshua Egg, thank you so much. Dude, you are awesome. Thank you for the donation. That's great. That's crazy. You're amazing. Love the stream. Thanks. Looking forward to the next one. Yep, absolutely. I'll be here, and hopefully the next one, it'll be... the final dungeon is going to be kind of a, what did we learn from all of this type of dungeon? So if we paid attention in last stream and this stream, when we get to the last area, we should know how to solve it very easily. Because it's supposed to be one of the most complicated dungeons in the franchise. But, besides the point, you all have a good evening, or a good day, depending on where you're at in the world, based on your time zones, and you have a great weekend as well. I'll see you all later. Take it easy. Have a good night. Bye.